internet YouTubers. Borrowed my aunt's CRV. I am going to check out the areas that we used to haunt when we came up here when I was a kid. We drove to a couple of them yesterday. Actually ate a meal at the place we used to go all the time, and the food was not good. She told me the food was not going to be good, but she was sweet enough to let me eat there for nostalgia's sake, because it used to be decent. And after I run by a couple places, maybe I'll run back down into Beulah, Michigan. Right now I'm heading to Honor, which is very close, and then we'll go by Platte Lake, where the cottage is. It's not their cottage anymore. And I was just talking to her. It was always their cottage, because I described it before. My family, my grandmother had us calling countless families that we were close to, calling them aunt and uncle. They weren't related to us at all, but so she's my aunt. And she's always felt like an aunt, to be honest. And, but I'll go by the cottage where some of my best memories were. When we used to come up as a kid, it really was a cottage, and then it became a home. But like so many people, the stock market did not help people. Well, except the people that caused it. They got off scot-free and actually made extra money. But that's a rant for a different time. Because that's not a ramble, that's a rant. Benzie County. 77 degrees today with a nice breeze. Beautiful, beautiful. That's probably enough for right now. This is the little village of Honor. And I've said it before, so I'm either going to tell it to you twice or edit it out. But, man, if you have your RV and you're taking trips and you get an opportunity to revisit a place you used to go as a child, I highly recommend doing that. It's like a time machine. It's like going back in time. Things are a little bit different, but for me, it stirs so many of those great memories. And I've also said, I think this area of Michigan, Platte Lake, Honor, Beulah, these are some of my best memories as a kid. And I haven't been here, I think it's been about 3 years since I've been up here. And a little post office, and it's always special. Gas station where we used to get for the motorboat. And that's it. And we are gonna go here. Oh, I should have went straight, because there's the little there's an Ace True Value there, a couple small little restaurants. There's a pizza place. Now there's a Family Dollar. But this is where we would come to get all the supplies every spring. So we would come up in the spring. We call it the guy trip. It'd be 3 of us, their son and me and my uncle and my grandfather and Doc. And we would come up here and we would rake. The kids, we would rake and rake. We'd get 250 bags of leaves in a weekend. We'd do a long weekend up here and just never had so much fun working so darn hard in my life. I guess I will apologize now for posting a video about my personal memories, which will mean nothing to 99% of the people that will watch this on YouTube. If you're bored, you don't have to watch it. I'm sure I will come back to this several times myself and rewatch it, because I like this very much. And this is Deadstream Road. Platte Lake on one side and Little Platte on the other. And the trees don't look as dead as they used to. Because there's a river that connects the two lakes. I used to canoe this a lot. Here, hopefully nobody will get mad at me. Oh, it says no parking right there, big letters. All right, maybe on the way back we'll stop. Big sign, no parking. In the city, it pulls over and parks. Sorry, we got carried away. There's Platte. You can't see it, but I can. Lots of cottage rentals. A lot of it, like again, doing the time machine, a lot of it is very similar. Some of it is exactly the same. Some of it is similar, and some of it's totally different. So far, very similar. Not too much difference. This was the trading post that was built I think after I had left high school. This trading post was built. After my trips as a child. Trying to remember my landmarks. There used to be a great big huge propane tank right there on the right. It's gone now. And there's the cottage right there. That is now somebody else's. All these have been built over the last 20 years. This was their property as well. And now their cottage is for sale again. And they changed the name of it, which they have every right to do. But stop here. This is all the same. That's the garage. There's the house. When we first came up, it was a cottage, and then it got made into a house. The lake back there, a little outhouse. This is the boathouse. I love this piece of property. Platte Lake, again, my best memories. I came up here one year. I brought my grandparents in my Blazer pulling a jet ski, and this is a public access right here, which nobody ever uses. But I backed my Blazer right down into the lake, probably about 20 feet out there because it's relatively shallow. And I opened up the back hatch, put an air mattress back there, and for a week I slept there. And it was awesome. We used to have a fire pit down here. Great memories. Alright, YouTubers, that was amazing because the lady who had bought the cottage from them pulled in while I was taking pictures. I spoke to her. Wonderful lady. She actually just sold this house again and is moving back to Florida. And she was friends with my Aunt Ruth. She knew my grandmother in passing. They weren't great friends, but they knew each other. And she let me go inside the house, which again has two stages. It had the stages when it was a cottage, and it had the stages when it became their home. And it's different from both of those stages now. Beautiful. And it was beautiful. It has always been beautiful, just different types of beautiful. These houses, I knew a lot of the neighbors. It was funny that a lot of the people right in this general area all came from the same little town in Ohio and built cottages up here. And it was gorgeous. Again, it was so, I guess it was meant to be. I was always a fan of this house. I think as much for that stone wall as for the house. I just liked all the windows. And there's another house that hopefully is still here. You know, and in between now, some of the old ones have been torn down and made something different than I would personally want. But I'm simple. I like the cottage feel. I don't need like this big yellow house that would do nothing for me. That big yellow house. Nothing. I wouldn't want that if you gave it to me. But the house right next to it, I've always loved this log cabin. I've always thought it was beautiful. And it looks like it's in a little state of disrepair. Like so many areas, it's become all about the money. It used to be that, you know, an average, not average, but a middle class, maybe a little upper middle class family could have a place like this. And now it just, you really can't. It's not the same. We'll carry on a little further. I came up here, dating myself, I'm getting old, but I guess 20 years ago.